Today's Monday, June 8th, 2020. I'm at a new little spot. It's at the end of the road, the little cul-de-sac at the end of the road of the new road that I'm living on, that I'm moving on to today. And little apartments just up the streets. And just feeling the new space, the new territory. Thought I would do a video down here. Just visited. We're slowly getting set up over there. I got a few things moved in and it's getting exciting. Setting up a new space. Had a phone conversation with my dad today. Letting him know I'm coming out in a few days. He already knew that, just reminding him, giving him the heads up. And yeah, the conversation felt good. His vitality seemed up, his spirit seemed up. He was in a good mood. Could feel his excitement about me coming out, which felt good. A little shift in his energy from the first time I told him. And yeah. But getting prepared, the Inner Temple meditation that I host every Monday evenings coming up in a couple of hours. We start at 1 hour before sunset and do a 1 hour meditation that finishes right at the sunset. And preparing for that. And letting that still point, that anchor point, like help me pause each week and check in and see how wild my internal energy has gotten since the last time I sat and meditated. See how hard it is and how much I resist getting back into that still and quiet space. But it always seems to serve me well. Had my last long sleep in at my old place this morning, and both felt good and also felt like restless within myself of trying to establish my own internal structure to almost to establish more internal structure so that I can have more freedom. And sometimes I resist putting any extra structure in my life because I feel like there's too much structure going on already around me. But my resistance to that kind of keeps me sometimes from making good use of the time I do have or getting some of the things done that I want to get done. But just feeling that reminder as I was getting out of bed late today. I'm like, I could choose to do this different. But, give myself a free pass for this last day. I've been feeling super ungrounded with with the moving, with so much change, with the visit with my father coming up, with lots of things happening, lots of big shifts underway, both in the present moment and in the few months coming up. My box of books arrived today of my first book of poetry entitled Bloodwater Road. This is the newest, it's actually like the first printing publishing of this book. I'd gotten it into book form 2 or 3 years ago, but not quite how I wanted it. And then the project fell through, and I had to pick it back up in this last 6 months, year, to finish bringing it to its successful completion. And it arrived there, and it's a real book now, and I just got my first 10 copies in the mail today, and that was like super exciting, super satisfying. I'm feeling more and more thanks to Becky and her help and her support, a lot of beautiful manifestations of like my heart projects, my things I'm wanting to birth, my voice I'm wanting to get out. I'm seeing those happen more and more, and it's giving me more confidence, more success to see the visions from my head land in the 3D manifestation, getting me excited about what's still to come. I got a phone call from my brother yesterday, and I didn't mention it in the video and thought about it right after the video finished last night. And my brother called me back. I've called him a couple times in the last few weeks, and he called me back and left a message. And first communication we've had in maybe 8 years. 8 to 10 years. I guess I just want to say, like, to my brother, Jeremiah, I hope you see these videos. I hope you find these videos and watch them, and I hope you get a chance to hear a little bit deeper truth of who I am, what I believe. We're in such a state of disconnect. You know, I feel like you have to go on what you believe or think is happening in my life without really knowing what truly is. And what can I say? The message from my brother was bittersweet. It's good to hear his voice. I was really grateful you called me back, Jeremiah. Thank you. I look forward to a time when our relationship can keep growing. The voicemail was a nice response to what I said, but it was also a elephant in the room avoiding of the real issue, which was that I would like to speak with you. I'd like to speak with my brother. I'd like to see him. I'd like to connect with him and have a real relationship with him. And I offered to come see you when I'm flying out to the East Coast to see our dad. You said you're not going to be able to see our dad. You didn't acknowledge the fact that I asked to see you and that I offered to come see you. You just said that you're not going to come see Dad and kind of left it there. And spoke with me on the voicemail like we speak all the time, even though it's been 8 to 10 years since the last time I've heard your voice. And it hurts, brother. Like, I hear your love for me in your voice and in the politeness and respectfulness of the conversation, but I also hear your guardedness that's obviously comes from, you know, your allegiance and faith to the Jehovah's Witnesses. It tells you not to speak with me. And I understand that. I just don't agree with it. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. And would love for us to have a real conversation, a real friendship, a real relationship, and a mutual respect for where our heart's faith has led us to this point in our lives. And if anything, it seems like there could be growth. There could be obviously growth from sharing and seeing the walk of faith that we're both living in completely different lifestyles and ways. And I can only understand that you feel very threatened by my lifestyle and by what I believe and what I choose. And that your faith warns you against people like me. And it hurts to hear that and see that. I feel like I want to send you a message, brother. Like, I'm gonna leave it on your phone soon, but just to let you know that, like, I feel somewhere in your standoffness from not wanting to speak with me or connect with me is your belief that one day I'm gonna come to my senses and return to the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I would say that that's where you're misguided by your faith, that I'm not in a state of active resistance to becoming a Jehovah's Witness again, that I see it clearly for what it is, and I have no desire to ever be one again. And you're not just buying your time of until we're reunited in the same faith that you're in. It's not going to happen, and it's not something I'm holding out on. I'm not out being a bad boy and then gonna repent and come home and be a Jehovah's Witness again. And I know that's the narrative or the story you have in your head, that you couldn't understand that there would be a faith, a connection, a real source of spirituality that transcends the one that you're in, that goes outside of, beyond, that's not encapsulated within your belief system. It would challenge you and unground you to know that I could have a faith that's beautiful, that's connected, that's free and alive, that's not inside of your teachings of the Bible and of your religion. And sometimes I think I speak such simple, obvious things in this video or in my beliefs, but I'm also very well aware of how challenging my beliefs are to so many people who are holding strong grips of beliefs, whether they're pledging their allegiance to a flag, giving their power away to a flag, to a government, to a political regime, or if they're baptized into a faith of a religion or a tradition. They're all giving our power away, even to do things for a cause. If your truth lines up with a cause, beautiful. But always check in with your own personal truth. Don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to be guided by what your truth is, and it doesn't ever have to look any certain way. It doesn't have to be predictable from people on the outside with, like, yesterday you did that, but today you do this, and I don't understand how you could do this today and that tomorrow. And it doesn't really matter what other people think or what box they can put you in or can put you in. It matters on whether you're being true to your own heart, to your own divinity that you are. I was speaking these deep matters of what faith is with my father today, and I can only imagine as he's nearing the threshold of crossing over in this life, that he's really trying to anchor in what he does believe, what his truth is. And one of the things I shared with him today is that it's not something you can hand to people in one short, sweet sentence. That it really is something that we must continually seek and discover for ourselves, and that we're going to constantly be handed things that looks It almost looks like this and it almost looks like that, but it's neither one of those things. Seeking out our truth takes effort. People on the outside can help us. They can expose truths to us. They can help us see where we're making choices without full consciousness. And we need to bring more awareness, more consciousness to what we're doing. To be careful that we don't keep handing our power away to others. But brother, I'm not inspired by your faith. I'm not inspired by your blind allegiance to the religion that you grew up in. I'm not blind. I haven't forgotten what I learned. I just don't believe it. Not even a little bit. No one has tricked me or blinded my mind or deceived me. I understood a long time ago that I do not need the Bible for my faith. And I know this too upsets many people to say that. I have rooted in me a faith that is older than any written word. Any holy text. I do not need a Bible. I do not need a Jesus, a Savior. These teachings, these stories can help us remember our own divine connection, our own light within. And for that, they're beautiful and they're guiding lights and guide stones, but they're not something to give your power away to. It's not something to trick you to seeking power outside of yourself again and again and again. To have faith into a Jesus figure that's so much better than you, that you will never be. That in itself is the downfall of that teaching. To put the enlightened figure over here that is a perfect man, that is not you, that you can never be Jesus, and keep you in this disempowered state. If there was a Jesus that was enlightened, this is not what he taught. What he taught is that divine light is in all of us, and that we must remember it and bring it forth and cultivate it within and stand in these bodies as the divine manifestations that we are. Remember our oneness. Remember our connectedness. In this way, we know how to treat everyone. We know how to greet everyone and see everyone. And there are only those who are awakened to this and those who are soon to awaken to this. And anyone that tells you that you need to be a part of this religion or this political affiliation, or I'm going to draw a line in the sand, and if you're on this side, it means this, and if you're on that side, it means that. That's just their judgment of you. And again, we don't have to give our power away even to their opinion of us. We only have to stay true to what we know to be true inside our own hearts. And brother, if you're staying true to what's the truth you know inside your heart, I greet you. Just, keep on keeping on, I guess. I send you my love. I desire to speak with you face to face, to have a real conversation. To share the truth of my faith with you, the truth of my path. Where my joys are, where my freedoms are, where my creativity is, where my understandings are. And yet I know, without a doubt, that this cannot be handed to anyone, that we have to all seek it and claim it for ourselves. It's a strong current running in me, and it's a strong disappointment to hear this connection with you, with my brother, is still on delay. This is where I can share that to find our truth in this life can divide us from our flesh and blood brothers, from my mother, from partners. Our truth is like that. To stay true to what we know sends us on a path that not everyone can follow. And I know my brother and my mother think that their truth, by staying on their true path, it has divided them from me. And in a way, they're right. But it doesn't stop them from speaking to me. My truth has led me on this path, and yet I hold space for them to be in the same circle with me. And their truth pulls them on a path where I am not allowed to be in the same circle as them. That's a very distinct line. That those who are following their truth hold space for others to follow their truth. Not judgment for following your truth. And I challenge that you're not following your truth when you're a member of a religion that's telling you what to do. That is not your truth. That is the truth that someone has handed to you. If it's not a religion that you started, it's not your truth. And if you found something that you thought was the truth and you tried to start a religion, that too would not be a truth. You would understand that every person needs to find their own truth, and you would support them in that. And you would know that it would never look like a religion. It would never look like uniformity, conformity, mandatory rules. This is the nature of governments. This is the nature of a 3D world that's in a state of disconnect. Not the nature of freedom, of expressions of divine light. Remembering their connection back to Source. Honoring all other connections, manifestations of Source. These things are not easy to speak about. There's not a one-way, clear way, direct way. It takes time. It takes gentleness. It takes delicateness. I think that's done speaking to a little bit of the pain in my heart today, and with that, I just want to send out my love. Send out my love to you, my brother, Jeremiah Johnson. Send out my love to you, my mother, Cindy, Richie, Tracy. Send my love out to my greater human family, everyone watching this and beyond. May we all remember ourselves back home. Learn how to have kindness, love, and respect for each other while we're doing that. Deep heart namaste to you all. Thank you.